All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are looking at a company that is trying to completely rewire how we find information online. We're talking about Perplexity AI.
So let's just start with a simple question, right? What if your search engine could actually think? What if, when you asked it something, it didn't just point you in a bunch of different directions?
You know, that endless blue wall of links we've all spent hours, maybe even days of our lives, clicking through trying to piece together an answer for ourselves. What if it did all that heavy lifting for you? It scans the web, right now, in real time, it understands what it's reading, and then it just gives you the answer. Clear, concise, and sourced. Now that is the big idea we're going to dive into.
Okay, so let's get into it. To really get what Perplexity is doing, we first have to talk about the problem it's trying to solve. And that problem is that the way we've been finding information for decades, well, it might just be kind of broken.
So on one side, you've got your traditional search. You type in a question, you get a list of websites, and boom, the real work, the research, that's all on you. But on the other side, you have this thing called an answer engine. It takes your question, does the research for you across all those links, and synthesizes it into a direct answer. It's about shifting the work from you to the AI.
All right, so that brings us right to the star of the show. Let's dig into what Perplexity AI actually is and how it's trying to be this completely new kind of tool.
So this is really the key concept here. Perplexity isn't just a chatbot, one that might be pulling from old, outdated data. And it's not a search engine that just throws links at you. It's a hybrid. It's built from the ground up to give you direct answers that are based on real, verifiable sources it's finding on the web right this second.
But here's what's super clever. The name itself, Perplexity, is not just a random word they thought sounded cool. In the world of AI, it's a real technical term. It's a metric for how confused or surprised a language model is. A lower Perplexity score is actually better. It means that AI is more certain, more accurate. So the company's name is this brilliant little nod to their mission, to reduce confusion and deliver clarity.
Okay, having a great idea is one thing. But how does Perplexity really stack up against the big dogs, right? The giants of search and AI, like Google and ChatGPT. Let's take a look.
Okay, this table really lays it all out. Perplexity is fundamentally for research. ChatGPT is more for conversation and creation. But the biggest difference? Look at source citing and real-time data. Perplexity gives that to all users for free, by default. You don't have to pay for it. Plus, if you're a pro user, you get to choose from a whole buffet of different AI models, GPT-4, Claude, even Grok, not just the in-house stuff from OpenAI.
So what this all boils down to is two things: control and trust. Perplexity wants to give you the confidence that your answer is up to date and lets you check its work instantly with citations. And you can even tell it where to look. You can say, hey, only search academic papers for this, which, if you're doing serious research, is an absolute game changer.
Yeah, but of course, when you build something that just summarizes the entire web, you're gonna step on some toes. You're gonna create some friction. And that brings us to the really complicated part of this story: how it makes money in the fights it's getting into.
And the story here, well, it's a classic Silicon Valley playbook, right? Step 1, build the cool, disruptive tech. Step 2, face the lawsuits from the big, established players who say you're stealing their work. Step 3, try to find a new way forward, which in this case is sharing the money.
So, their solution? Basically, to put their money where their mouth is. The company has set aside this initial fund of over $42 million to start paying publishers whose content it uses to cook up its answers. You gotta see it as a pretty significant peace offering in a super high-stakes fight over the future of the internet.
But make no mistake, this isn't some quiet apology tour. This quote from the company shows they are not backing down. They believe that news outlets fighting against this kind of AI are just on the wrong side of history. Their argument is that trying to hide publicly reported facts behind a paywall is the real self-defeating strategy in the age of AI.
Okay, so industry fights are one thing, but what really matters at the end of the day is, what do actual users think? What's the experience like for the people using this thing every day?
This review from Team GPT gives us a really clear snapshot. And you can see, it scores great on usability, integrations are a 9 out of 10, that's awesome. But then you get to that last one, security, a 5 out of 10. Oof, that is a major red flag we have to talk about.
And this quote from a user on Reddit, man, it just perfectly captures what people love about it. The way it presents information is so clean, so readable, it feels like you're working with it. You're supervising a really smart research assistant, not fighting with a confusing piece of tech.
But it is definitely not all sunshine and roses.
That low security score comes from some really scary user reports about a loophole where images you upload could become public. On top of that, people complain all the time about just bugs. Something went wrong errors and hitting frustrating search limits, even when they're paying for it. That can kill your workflow.
Okay, so putting all of this together, where does this go from here? What's the big vision for Perplexity, and what could it mean for all of us and the future of how we search for things?
Yeah, you can see their roadmap is, well, it's not shy. They started as an answer engine back in 2022. This year, they're taking on this massive challenge with publishers. But the next step, which they're calling Comet, is to build an agentic browser. Think about that. An AI that doesn't just find information, but can actually do things for you online, like book your flight or order your groceries.
And really, that brings us to the big final question. Perplexity is making a huge bet that the future of search isn't about getting a list of links, it's about getting a single, intelligent answer. So the question for all of us is, are they right? Is this how it's going to be? It's a fascinating thing to watch unfold. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.